Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are at this moment. This is Larry Lewis on the Mentors Lounge for the November edition. This interview is the second in November 2021. And today I am so happy, so excited to bring this great man onto the Mentors Lounge. My guest on the Mentors Lounge today is no other person than Seyi AWOBADEJO. If you know Seyi AWOBADEJO, he's a man of many parts, and I'm so happy to bring him on board. This is someone I've known for many years. I think it dates to close to around, if I look at this, to be close to 18 or thereabouts, 18 or 20 years that I've known Seyi. And so today, why I'm bringing him on board is because of who Seyi has been to me and who is becoming. And he has a lot to share with us today. So without wasting much time, I want to welcome Seyi AWOBADEJO. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much, Larry, for having me, and thank you for the kind words. It's been a while. I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Now, some people will be wondering who is Seyi AWOBADEJO, because I usually like people that will be watching to meet the guests themselves. I like to give the opportunity for Seyi to introduce himself. Who is Seyi AWOBADEJO?
Thank you. Let me just do a small introduction of myself. I will call myself a serial entrepreneur,
Yes,
a businessman, a serial entrepreneur who started business in 2007, 2008 fully. I mean, I've always been dreaming to be a businessman. By 2007, I started fully in Nigeria. I started a recruitment and training agency called Driving Solution Nigeria Limited, and the business is still on now. It's been on for the past 12 to 13 years. And later, I started another one in farming and agro-allied, a warehouse where we distribute food for poultry and fish farmers. It's a mega business back in Abeokuta then, and it's still in existence. Then I started my voyage in the UK in 2013, and that's when we transited from the Nigerian business to the UK business. While still running the UK business, Nigerian business, we started there with WosiWosi. WosiWosi is a wholesale distributor of African food. So we import from Africa and we distribute in the UK and Europe. We do that offline and online. Then we started the restaurant chain recently called 80K Restaurant. It's a lifestyle business, restaurants and hotel. It's a lifestyle business. We started that recently, and that's where we are now. Also, we've been into real estate since 2013. So we have real estate interest in Nigeria and in the UK. So that's who I am. That's the business part of myself. But by training, I'm a chartered accountant. And I've worked in the banking sector for a number of years before starting business.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is very brief, but I'm going to break it down for us watching this today or anytime you'll be watching. Seyi AWOBADEJO is someone that is man of many parts. He has worked in the banking sector before transiting into setting up businesses in Nigeria and now moving to the UK. He has also been a mentor to many young ones, and that is why one of the reasons why we're bringing on board on the Mentors Lounge today, because I remember back in Nigeria then that Seyi ran and I'll call it a social enterprise to develop capacity in young people called the Wisdom Training Center. Do you want to share with us your experience with that one, Wisdom Training Center? Because I know a lot of mentees have been raised from that platform. Yes.
Wisdom Training Center, it's a vision that we had back then in 2010. We started Wisdom Training Center in 2010. It was a center located in Abeokuta where we train people on entrepreneurship. At that point, I started business in 2007, and the business was not doing very well at initial stage. So we learned a lot of things that eventually, when the business picked up in 2008, almost 9 months after we started, so I felt compelled to share some of the wisdom that I got or I learned in the trying period of the business. So we started Wisdom Training Center, and we did very well. Back then, the center is not there physically, but we are still doing other things that people benefit from. But like Larry said, we have been able to mentor a lot of people. That has been how many years now? About 10 years?
Yes.
Over 10 years, almost 10 years. So most of the guys that were at the center now, Wisdom Training Center now, have become established business people too, and they too are now mentoring another generation of people.
Good.
So, but it's something that we should encourage. Like Larry is doing Mentors Lodge now. It's something that we should encourage, because a generation, the next generation, should benefit from the wisdom of the older generation. We should pass information, and we should make sure that what we go through, they should not go through. Absolutely. What I went through in business, what I was doing then in Wisdom Training Center, is to ensure that nobody passes through what I went through. They should learn from, because I got my fingers burnt. If only you can see the scars, but there's a lot of mistake. I lost a lot of money, and I'm still losing some money now, because maybe I've not gotten enough mentors to take me on my journey. So I believe that whatever I've gone through, people should not go through it. So, and information is free. Information should be shared and then passed on to the next generation.
Awesome. This is one of the reasons why the Mentors Lounge was set up. Mentors Lounge is here to democratize success. That is, normalize success, make it normal. Like they usually say this thing that the secret of men is in their stories. Definitely. And a mentor is someone who will shorten the duration that you would take to get you to your destination, because they have gone through it before, and they will tell you the bends to avoid, all the things that you need to do, and just follow it, and you will replicate or even do better, because you are armed with enough insight from them. Now, the thing is this, you have transitioned from someone who was running business in Nigeria and running in the UK. Can you share with us how that experience was for you, especially the time that you left? Because moving to UK at that time to come and start a business is a big leap, big daring move. I mean, can you share with us some of the things, but like anyone who wants to take that kind of voyage, or anyone, or someone within the UK or anywhere, how can they learn from this? Please share with us. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Like I always say, starting a business in the UK and running a business in the UK, it's a little bit complex, unlike when you do that back in Africa or home. Complex because there are regulations, there are standards, and there is a certain responsibility that is expected of you as the business owner. It's not something that is unsurmountable. It's not difficult, but laws must be followed, process must be followed, and it's quite expensive to run a business from here. It's quite expensive, unlike running from Africa. You want to start a business in Africa, for example, you might not need to do a lot of fancy things because there's no regulation, there's no government agency that is giving you guidelines. You don't need licenses. You want to start a restaurant, for example, you don't need to register with health and safety, which you must do here. You have to register with health and safety. You have to get planning permission. You need to comply with food standard. You need to comply with regulation concerning pest control. You need to get alcohol license. I can start a beer parlor in Nigeria tomorrow morning. Just put chairs in front of my house and put bottles out. People will sit down and drink, and I'll be making money. And once I'm making money, I'll be reinvesting in the business and just keep going like. But you can't do that here. You will need licenses. You will need to get something that is befitting. The council might want to check. They will need to give you ratings, 5-star rating, 4-star rating. So it's complex starting a business here. It's not that it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's complex, and because of the complexity, it makes you to succeed. If you can start and run it, it makes you to succeed because the government is checking on you to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So it makes you to avoid errors and costly mistakes. You don't risk people's life because there are procedures. You don't just serve things to people. You need to comply with the law.
Right.
So that's just the true difference between starting a business in Nigeria and starting here. It's just the process. And the process makes them get better. And the process, because I've started business in Nigeria, I've done it. The process helps you to keep tab on what you are doing. In Nigeria, when nobody is asking you for, they're asking you, but you don't have to comply because of the nature of the environment. For example, tax. It's your money. You start your business, it's your money. You make your money, you spend your money, nobody asks you. But you are conscious of the fact that the tax man can come in anytime. So you are keeping books. You are keeping, whether you don't want to structure, you want to structure, you are forced to structure. You are forced to structure because you need to keep record. So that improves. That's why, and like they say, there are not too many businesses. I think it's changing now, that has clocked 100 years in Africa. I think it's changing now. But one of the things that I personally saw when I got here was that maybe this is one of the reasons. Because the system itself is designed for you to structure your business.
To structure it.
Whether you are just starting or not, you will need to keep books. Because you will know that you have to do your tax return at the end of the year. You need to, if you are VAT registered, you need to submit your VAT application. I know those things happen in Africa too, but the kind of structure they put in it and the kind of urgency and the law around it makes you to comply. You can't, who will you talk to? In some other clime, you can say, okay, I'm sorry, take this one, please look away. There's nobody nobody's looking away. So that's just the difference between running a business there. But like I said, it's not difficult.
Right.
It's not difficult. It's a process that has to be followed.
Okay.
And labor is very expensive here as well, and things are very expensive here as well. Especially when you have to employ people. There is minimum wage. You cannot pay less than that.
Yes, or that. Yeah.
So labor is very cheap back in some economy. That's why some of the big companies are moving their production to some parts of the world that is safe, where they can easily employ quality personnel and pay them lesser than they would have paid here. So labor in this climate, labor is very, very expensive. So we have to be mindful of that.
Okay.
So my transition from Nigeria to, I think we have started. I should explain my transition.
Yes, go on.
So my transition from there was a rude shock for me. It just came boom. I'm like, what happened? Because I got here and I was used to not doing things myself back in Nigeria. People will do things for you now. At that point in Nigeria, when I left, we had about over 100 staff in the business I was running there. And I think at a point we had 400 at its peak before I left, 400 staffs. So I was used to not carrying my bag, not carrying my shoe, not the ironing my shirt,
Yeah.
everybody doing it. You know, personally, it's not something I like. But
Yeah.
before you return, they say, "Oh, guy, bring it." Okay, don't do it. I mean, you see people running around for you.
Yeah.
You can't. I can't change tire. Like, I want to change my tire.
Yeah.
I want to change bulb. You always see somebody that
Somebody will do it for you.
As soon as we got here, day one, first day one like this, I had to roll my sleeve because we got an apartment that was unfurnished, and we need to furnish it now. I discovered that there's no carpenter to do bed. I had to go to IKEA, buy the bed, fix the bed.
Fix yourself.
I learned the hard way. It's not something I love to do, but I had to do it. I mean, I had to clear the garden. I had to do DIY. So it's a shock, but I think it paid off at the end of the day, or it's paying off now. So things are, you have to do it yourself. Then when we started the business as well, a business of the magnitude of WosiWosi, when we started in 2015, should from day one should have at least, if it was Nigeria or in Africa, I would from day one you have like 10 staffs. From day one now, you hire somebody at the, I mean, we had two tills. We had somebody on the meat machine. You hire somebody on the shop floor. You will need a driver. You will need a cleaner. But you can't do that. Yeah. So when we started day one, because we didn't start small, we started big.
Wow.
When we started, I was the driver, I was the
delivery man.
I was the delivery man, I was the cleaner, my wife was the cashier, so it was between the two of us, my wife and myself. So we started, we bootstrap because we can't afford to pay anybody now.
Yeah.
I start paying people minimum wage from day one. So we started gradually, and we are here now to a point where we have partners now. We have partners, and when I say partners, I mean colleagues.
Yeah.
We have about 15 of us now, and it's growing.
Awesome.
I think 15 to 20. I can't even put my hands on the figure now.
Awesome.
So that's where we are now.
That's really phenomenal. I mean, coming from Nigeria and now starting a business of manual of WosiWosi in the UK, it's really great. Yeah. Now there is something that is a challenge which I want you who is in it to speak on, and that is about the Black ethnic minority or Black minority group doing business in the UK. I observe that within the UK, apart from those who are British by birth or something like that, you have Asians doing business, you have Africans doing business. But there's something that Africans are just crossing the threshold, which is building sustainable businesses. Yeah. There seems to be more Asians having sustainable businesses than Africans. Yeah. Why do you think this is the case, and what can, from your experience, Africans do to break this threshold or this myth? Is there a myth around it? Because that's what I see. And when you discuss with Asians, you will see that they have this communal way of running things, even with anything, not only business, with acquiring houses, all those things. They have this communal effort that they put into it, and Africans are not leveraging on that. So what can you say about
I think it has to do with trust. I think they've been able to build trust around themselves. They've been able to build trust around themselves, and they've done this successfully for years. They've been doing it since about 50 years, over 50 years. So what I discovered, I did a small research. I did a small research, and I wanted to know why. Why that is happening. And I asked questions. And the result I got was that about 50 years ago, when the Asians were coming, they were taking advantage of opportunities.
Right.
They were starting businesses. At that point, I discovered that our generation, the generation that came, at that point, they didn't do the same. We were working, but it's changing. The narrative is changing now. Even in the area where I play, African food, you will discover that we have more Asian dominating in that environment. In fact, they control that business. They control that business. They control our own food. They control our own food, and it's a shame, but that's where we find ourselves. That's where we find ourselves. So why is that? I can't put my finger on why, but I think it's a combination of things that you have mentioned. They cooperate among themselves. You will see them. If a magnitude of business like WosiWosi, I bet you, if it was an Asian, I won't be the only one that owns with my wife. I will not be the only one. There will be a group of 10 or a group of 5 or a group of 2 that would have come and say, oh, this man, you are doing this thing. Take this money and be doing it. We're not going to interfere, but just grow it. But I think I find it difficult that for Africans, we find it difficult to trust ourselves to be able to work together. So I think it's a cultural thing, maybe, or it's just a societal thing from but it's changing. Things are getting better because without it as a people, we might not be able to forge ahead. We might not be able to do so much. We need to cooperate. We need to synergize. We need to synergize. Acquiring properties, you will see a number of these other people that we are talking about now. You see them come together, buy one house, maybe 5 of them come together, buy one house, give it to this person owns a house, then next year they do it for the second person, next year they do it for the third one. So by the time you look at them in 5 years, all of them hold their property. But we want to do it alone. So Mr. A, who happens to be a Nigerian, is there struggling by himself to put a service together to get a home for himself. Whereas instead of you struggling to get 30,000 for yourself, 40,000 for yourself, you could have done contribution whereby 5 of you will contribute and give it to you to go and acquire it. So next time they do it for the next person. I don't know. Well, I think it's more of a cultural thing. I think so.
This is profound. This is really profound.
I don't want to open some kind of worms in my own area. You need to know what is happening in African food business. I'm telling you, they control the market though. They determine the price. We are not in control. We are selling, but we are not in control.
Wow.
I mean, it's before now. It was not existent. Africans were not in this space. It's now that some of us that are in the business, but we are still minute to the number of people from Asia that are selling African food. They don't just sell it to us. They control the back end from Africa. So they own farms in Africa now, or they own factories in Africa where they bring these things to the UK to sell to us. Yep. Asians own warehouses in Nigeria. Farms.
Farmlands.
Yep.
This is
not bad. It's not bad. But we need to ask ourselves questions as a people that want to be in charge and that want to forge ahead in life. We need to ask ourselves: we can do better? I think we can do better, and if the narrative is changing. It's been on for so many years. Narrative is changing, but that's where we are now.
Awesome. This is really explosive, because coming from you, that is from your system, and that's what is happening. Even when I hosted my brother, he was telling me that in the UK today, I think there are 3 people who are controlling this market. And the 3 of them are Asians. He said that their warehouses in London alone could be a whole street. And that's what he said. He said that that's just the way it is.
It might not be far from the truth. I mean, he's saying the truth. Things are changing gradually. It used to be worse than this maybe 10 years ago. I mean, there was no WosiWosi and some other big brands now that are Nigerian owned 10 years ago. So it can only get better.
Right.
It can only get better. But I think it dates back to 50 years ago. I mean, there are some of these Asian businesses that are 60 years old. That means the first generation started it and they handed it over to the second generation.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And what they do is just food. I think they started with their own food, Asian food, and they discovered that there was nothing for the African market. So they went to that market many years ago. I remember when we started WosiWosi, there is somebody came into the store and was like, wow, this is good coming from an African. And the woman said, an elderly woman, she's in her 80s. She said 50 years ago, they used to come from Nigeria to London. When they come, there's a place they call Lagos Emporium. I can't forget that word, Lagos Emporium, that is owned by an Asian, that they sell everything, including day-to-day corn, agbado ibeni. If I may use that word, ibeni, that if you go there, you will see it. So that means the Asian man imports from Nigeria and sells, and he calls his store Lagos Emporium. And the woman said that was 50 years ago. And when she entered our store, that our store reminds, or our warehouse will reminds her of the 50 years experience that she had 50 years ago, Lagos Emporium. So it's an Asian, and at that point, which African will start? I start to be corrected. I don't know, but I don't see many Nigerians coming to the UK in 1950 something to start that kind of business at that time. So things are changing now. Some of us now that can, and some of the people that came before us, they came and they invested at their own level, locally, in a corner shop, and they did very well with the capacity and the resources they have.
Okay.
But things are changing, like I keep saying.
Okay. Now, my next question is to someone who have heard what you're saying. WosiWosi started big in the UK and everything like that. If you are to advise your younger self or someone young who says, I also want to be in this area, what are the things that you tell the person to do?
If I want to advise it,
how would the person risk capital? How would the person one of the key things that is so critical to your business is the what do they call the logistics, the delivery and supply. Getting the products. What would you tell someone that if you want to do this thing, these are the things you should avoid, or these are the things you should face?
I mean, if I want to advise anybody, I would say you have to be ready to roll up your sleeve. It's not something, this business, the one that I do, there are so many businesses that one can do, but the one that I do is retail. It's retail and wholesale and distribution. It's not something that you will do without wanting to get your hands dirty. I mean, you need to put in the shifts. So you need to wake up early, you need to sleep late, you would have a lot of sleepless hours. It's energy sapping, and it involves a lot of manual handling. So if some of the things I know now, to be honest, some of the things I know now, if I knew it when I was going to start, I won't do it. I'm not saying it's bad, but thank God I didn't know. Thank God I did not know, because it would have drawn me back. But thank God I didn't know some of the things I got to know after we started. For example, when we were going to start, I didn't know about business rates.
Yeah.
Business rates is what you pay the government every month for your business. You pay for the building you are occupying. Apart from rental, you pay business rates. It's just like council tax that you pay at home. So you are paying the council for using that building. I didn't know there was something like business rate, honestly. When we started, I was shocked. After the first month, second month, I just got a bill from the council. saying that you are owing, and it's in thousands monthly.
Oof.
So saying that you are owing so thousand. I'm like, we just started. And then I was thinking that there will be tax holiday, there will be as soon as I call the council says, oh yeah, you have started the business, you have to pay. I said, but the business is not making money. The business is not making money yet. They said, oh, it's not about the money you are making. It's that you have occupied the building and you have to pay to occupy.
Wow.
I was depressed, if I may use that word.
Wow.
So the business has not been making money, or it was not making money, and we had to pay from day one. I mean, they even backdated, because I didn't report myself that I was in the building at that time. Because when you move into a building, your landlord should tell the council that
this person is now there.
This person is now there. So they'll start sending bill to you, and you have to pay. And you cannot afford not to. You cannot, by law, just like council tax, you can't afford.
Yes, you have to pay. Yeah,
you have to pay. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that if I knew that, probably I would not have started the business. But thank God I didn't know. I didn't also know that you need a alcohol license to sell alcohol. So I just started the business. We told the council. Somebody told me that I had to inform the council that I want to start the business. So I told the council. So the council approved. And I never knew that we were going to sell. We were going to need the license to sell alcohol. So I started selling alcohol. And there was a day the council came to do the normal inspection for health and safety. And when they did, the lady was happy and she went. Of course, the agencies in the council, they talk to themselves. So I think she got back to the office and told them that I don't think this person has alcohol license. So the alcohol people came. Ooh. Because the license is issued by the licensing office of the council. Each borough has their own officer in charge. Yeah. So he came with a policeman, a excess police, somebody in charge of policing license issuance. So they came in Mufti and they were like, do you sell alcohol in this place? I have learned not to lie.
Yeah.
I said, yes, we do. There was a customer there behind me at the back of those officers. He was saying, say no, say no, say no. I was confused because I was looking at the licensing authority people from the council. I was seeing the customer at the back waving at me, saying no. I said the truth. I said, yes, we are. You know what the man said? The man said, we know that you sell. We've been told that you sell. Thank God you came clean. So where is the alcohol? I took them to the warehouse. This is where the alcohol is. They said, you don't have license to sell. You need a license to be able to sell these things. I said, I don't know. I don't know. So they said, this is what you need to do. But one thing about these people is they are not there to punish you. They are there to correct you.
Yeah.
And so this is what you need to do. So they gave me the forms. They gave me what I need to do. One of the things that shocked me that day was to sell alcohol, you will need to make 21 applications. At that time, it's changed now. 21. Wow. I think it's 21. Yeah, be 20. I've forgotten the figure. So that means you have to apply and you send the application to about 20 agencies. You have to, because alcohol is so serious that you would need approval from the fire department to say, yes, let's license this person to sell alcohol. You need approval from the police, SS police would have to approve. You need approval from the office in charge of child protection in the council. You need approval from the licensing authority, health and safety, about 20 something of them at that time. So if I knew all these things, probably I won't start the business. Because it was tedious. So we stopped selling alcohol. So those are things that I got to find out along the way. That if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. But thank God I didn't know. So what would I tell the person, a young me that started the business? I would say comfort your fear and just forge ahead. Once you are convinced in your mind that you want to do this thing, then just go for it.
So the question with this, from the background of these people that are controlling things, is this: I see products come from Brazil, come from South Africa, come from Ghana, come from different countries. And I don't know what this thing is called, but they say that there is a kind of like a rating or a specification when it comes to food or stuff, that when it's coming from outside to the UK, it must meet a particular spec before they approve it in. My question is this: if we have in every 5 Africans, 1 person is a Nigerian, so that means that we have more Nigerians in places when compared to other African nations.
Yeah.
So it means that, for example, if you have the United Kingdom, you will have more Nigerian as Africans than other nationalities.
Yeah,
so
it's possible.
Why are products not regulated coming in from Nigeria? Or is there a new thing happening now? Because I hear things like Indomie will be routed to Ghana before it comes to Nigeria and branded as if it's from Ghana, right? I mean, different things like this. I'm just trying to wonder that what can be done in that space, especially for people like you and so many other people in this business value chain. What can be done, especially, is it relating with government, or is it relating with the High Commissioner? What can be done to break these issues?
Okay, I always run away from anything that is political. I run away. I'm here to mentor.
Is it political? Is it political? The reason why I'm asking this question,
I think it's political. It has to do with we as a people back in Nigeria. It has to do with the government. It has to do with regulation. Some other countries, they regulate what goes out. They form a board, export board, that helps people to sell their products. Because it will help the economy. When you help the farmers to ship their yam outside, to ship their beans, and when you are helping them to ship their beans, you help them with the quality control. They might not be able to, because they are just farmers and they are not dumb, they are smart, but the government can help with like what they call a hub, whereby everybody bring your things, we'll help you to get market out there, and we'll help you to sell at a good price. So you are not going to lose out. So the government buys from them and ship it for them, or the government ship for them and pay them when you understand. Some countries do that. And some countries too, the government helps with infrastructure so that when they want to ship, it is kept in a very conducive environment. For example, we sell a lot of, or we import a lot of vegetables from Nigeria. We import fresh vegetables on a weekly basis, or a weekly basis, So, and they come fresh. Ugu, shoko, tete, water leaf, saint leaf. They come fresh. So the farmer, or the importer, we go to the farm in Ijebu, for example, or Ibadan. And we buy this vegetable on a particular night and we ship it to Lagos, because that's where the airport is. By the time it gets to Lagos airport, there is no refrigeration. Those things should be, the temperature of the vegetable should be controlled. In the scorching sun of Nigeria, the vegetable will be left on the tarmac or under the shed, and it will reduce or spoil the quality of the produce. By the time it gets to the UK the following morning, because of that scorching sun, it would have reduced the quality. But if it was something like, the government has made provision for a refrigerated container at the terminal, as soon as it gets from the farm, because from the farm you control the temperature, so you can put it in the refrigerator van.
Yes.
So the temperature is controlled from the farm. It gets to the airport or to the cargo part of the airport in Nigeria, They put it immediately in a refrigerated container or cargo, and as soon as we are shipping, because we ship it by air and it's shipped in a controlled environment. As soon as it gets into the plane, they put it in a container that is refrigerated. So the temperature of the quality of the product is consistent, and it's kept. The integrity of the product is kept. But that's not the case in most cases. I'm not saying all cases. I stand to be corrected. In most cases in Nigeria, that's not the case. But in other parts of the world, like you mentioned, South America, where we import from, that is what cost us. So it's obtainable.
Okay.
So, like I keep saying, I don't want to get into politics, but some of these things could have been done if the political will is there.
All right. Now to some basics, right? You've been able to create a portfolio. WosiWosi UK, ATK restaurant, even in real estate.
Yeah, we have a business in UK that does real estate.
Yeah. Now, what are the kind of books, mentors, life lessons that have shaped you to be the person that you are today?
When I want to go into any area, I pick someone that I want to model or pattern myself after, or I want to learn from. For example, when we're going to start WosiWosi, I read a lot of books from Sam Walmart.
Okay.
And I'm still reading. There is one beside my bed, Made in America by Sam Walton. I mean, of blessed memory. I mean, if a man can start a small shop and he has grown to over 500, over thousands of stores across Africa, of course, America and the world.
Yes.
I mean, I need to learn how he did it. And the book did justice to that. The book did a lot of justice. Made in America. I mean, so that's just an example. When I was going to start Driving Solution back in 2006, between 2007, I read a lot of material from the internet. It was the internet then. I downloaded a lot of information about driving, safe driving, how to start a consulting firm, how to start a recruitment agency. You understand? I did a lot. To be honest, in my estimation, I read over 200 books in the area of driving that time. I don't have the time now as much as I do then. Then I was not married. Then I was very young. I was at the time. But now I am selective about books that I read. But at that point, I think I read over 200. So, the real estate too, when I was going to go into real estate, until now, I still do a lot of research. It has to do with asking questions, reading books, wanting to know what you need to do. So I think that answers your question.
Honestly, absolutely. Now, the thing is, you have partnerships also, which I know. What informs or what guides you in your partnerships, especially the business ones?
Well, you need,
because sometimes people go, if somebody is young and is not experienced, you go into some partnership and you get your fingers burnt. I mean, what helps you in the choice of partners, especially in business? Because we have to leverage on our different strengths anyway.
Yeah. So I was going to say that sometimes you think you need people with like minds. Yeah, it's good. But if somebody knows what you know, or you two of you think alike, then two of you might not make a great team. So you need people with diverse ideas. You have something to contribute. This other person has another dimension of something to contribute. I used to be a low ranger. I used to believe that, if you want to make it, please just do it yourself. But I've learned over the years that you need to get people. You need to leverage. That's the word. You need to leverage. You need to leverage on people Leverage, I mean, you have idea, you don't have money. Get somebody that have money to fund your idea, and you leverage. You have money, you don't have idea. Get somebody that has an idea to run with you to get your money. But what I would suggest, because it's mentors lounge where we mentor people, I would say that make sure if you are going to partnership, document. Let there be an agreement. Let there be a memorandum. Let there be something signed where we agree on how we want to run, what we are going to do, how we are going to do it, what percentage, what formula. I mean, play out all the scenario. Play out all the scenario, cover it in an agreement so that there is no problem in the future. Most of the people that I say, most of myself too, I'm very carefree. Yeah, he's my friend. Let's just go on. As we go on, I've learned over time. Things can change immediately or suddenly. So prevent that by making sure it's not because we don't trust ourselves. Let us follow the normal process. I mean, that's my suggestion and advice. Immediately before you start, before you even start at all, before you start the business, sit down together and agree. Let's get a lawyer, a solicitor, to draft an agreement, agree to disagree. This is how we are going to run. Define the role of each person. Define the role of each person. This is what you are going to be doing. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I will do. So that there is no personality clash. There is no doubt as to what will happen when something happens. So let's play out all the scenario. Let's cover that in an agreement. It will help. It will help. That's why most partnership fails, because some people assume that, especially from where we come from, we are not very thorough about bookkeeping. We don't even want to keep records, and we always believe that we trust ourselves. But now we're assuming that this is how things will run. The other person is assuming this is how things will run. We didn't talk about it. We didn't put it down. At the end of the day, when your assumption plays out, you are now like, no, that's not what I'm thinking. So there will now be conflicts. So to avoid that, if there is a document that says this is how we want to run this thing, this is what will happen, then put milestones, then it makes life easy for everybody.
Okay. Now, for somebody who is like, he has tried his hand in many things. There's this frenzy about, somebody is doing this thing, me too, I want to do it. Somebody is doing this one, me too, I want to do it. Right? And when I talk with people, I usually tell them that, look, it's not because somebody has created a path here that means that you too should also do it. How will you advise someone, a young person who is just here?
Well, I mean, that is where to start business from. That's where to start business from. You need to copy somebody. There is nothing new you want to create. I mean, I won't say there's nothing new. Most things has been done. So for you to make it in business, you need to do the same thing that people have done in a better way, in a new way, better, and you need to improve on it. However, as a people, we are used to bandwagon effects. Bandwagon. Once somebody does something, everybody will do it.
Moving there.
Somebody starts doing powder doggy. By the time you know it, everybody in Nigeria is doing powder doggy. Somebody is doing granuts, pure water. Everybody on the street has started selling pure water. Somebody is doing plantain chips. Everybody is doing it. I don't think it's the best, like you said, but that is the way. That's the way we have found ourselves. For a young person, I would say that if you want to even copy somebody, make sure you are better. You do a better version. You do a better version. There's no need to doing what somebody is doing and doing it poorly. You need to find out a loophole in what the person is doing and improve on it. There is no new idea anywhere. It's just to improve on, especially now in the tech space.
Yeah.
There's no new idea. Maybe when Facebook started, it was new. When Instagram started, it was new. At this point now, it's no longer new. What you need to do now is to look at what they are doing and improve on it.
All right. 2 things more, and I will release you today. Okay. Now, they always say that capital is and people say that I need capital to start this thing or something like that. Now, if you started WosiWosi big, it was not something that you just started and you just moved into UK. How did you create, leverage, produce, have the fund to run something of this magnitude?
Well, when
now
we
that
started,
question,
yeah.
now that question, I want you to be clear on where I'm going.
Okay.
You just transitioned from Nigeria to United Kingdom. I want you to address this question in the light of someone who may have something like a big picture that could materialize in about a number of years. Did you just decide that, oh, I need to move to the UK in 2013? Have you been planning ahead and now said that, okay, even when I get to this place, this is what I think I'm going to be doing, and that informed some decisions you are taking before that time came?
To be honest, if I
So
want
that's
to
why
be
I'm
totally...
trying to ask this question today, so that it can help some people who may be in that kind of threshold.
To be honest,
decision.
It was not planned. It was not planned. I didn't plan to move to the UK. I mean, when I say I didn't plan, I meant it's not that I've planned for 2 years or 3 years or for 1 year.
Right.
I think it was just something that decision that I took with my wife, and 6 months after we found ourselves here. And I believe it was divine. I believe it was inspired. I believe it was something that God says we should do, and we did, because it was just a moment of inspiration. I was just driving on Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, and I just felt this unease about Nigeria. It has never happened before. Even in Wisdom Training Center, I used to tell the people that come to the center that Nigeria is the best place in the world to be. I used to tell them it's still the best place to be in the world now. Till now, I'm not changing my mind. But I used to tell them that, oh, don't relocate. We have to make it here. You can make it here. I used to discourage people from leaving. So when I was not driving on that particular day, and I felt that relocate. In fact, I think I heard, not that I felt, I think I had to relocate from Nigeria. I don't know where from. Just something that came to my mind, and I couldn't just get it away from my mind. And that day, because I used to live in Abeokuta, I drive to Lagos to work to my business in Lagos.
Yes.
So that day, I could not concentrate in the business. I could not do anything. I just have to go back home. And I told Madam that we have to relocate, or I'm thinking that we should relocate. And she was like, it's not possible. Of course, to me too, it was foolish to go and do what now? But I felt a urge that we have to, and we started. In fact, at that point, I didn't even know how, what, where. I didn't know where, who. As in, how will you relocate? What will you do? Where will you apply to? It was after that time that I started looking at the internet to see what are the options. So you can set up a business and become a citizen of that country by setting up the business. So that is how WosiWosi came. You need to invest a certain amount of money in that economy for you to run and to go move to that country and stay in the country. So that was when. So when you say how do we get capital to start, don't forget that we are running a business in Nigeria, successful one. Yeah. So we had capital, we had money, but that is not where we started from. When we started that one in 2006, we didn't have any money. So we started from zero in 2006. And we built on that. There are creative ways of raising capitals, which we also employed in starting WosiWosi. I mean, if we have time, I will just go into one or two.
Yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
For example, at that time, my WosiWosi business, I won't take credit for that. It's my wife's idea. I would not go into this business. For people that don't know, WosiWosi is about African food. We import African food to the UK and we distribute. We wholesale, we wholesale and we retail. Okay, so that's WosiWosi business for people that don't know. So it's not my core competence, but I am able to administer. I'm able to manage. I'm able to put the brain to strategize. But the nitty-gritty of where to get the product, what to do with the product, which product to get is my wife. That's why you need a good partner if you want to go into this kind of business or any business at all. You need the support. You need the support. You need a support structure. It could be family, it could be friends. You need a support structure. People that will believe in you, people that will trust you, people that would ally with you. You need allies. You need allies. And if you are married, the best person to ally with you is your spouse.
Yes.
I mean, you don't want to have somebody under your roof that is not supporting your idea. You don't want to have an enemy within. So if it will take you to sell your vision to your spouse to believe in it, please do it. He might not like it, but make sure the person buys into it. If you can't convince your spouse, how will you convince customers?
Somebody outside.
I mean, if you can't win your partner over
under your roof.
Under your roof, you can't force them. You can't convince them to believe in the idea. So the idea came from Madam, and then when we got it, by the way, when we were coming from Nigeria, we have plans. I have an idea of what I want to have. 1, 2, 3 that I would do.
Yes.
Real estate. I was going to do real estate in the UK. I've not done it in Nigeria before. I have a feeling that I'm going to do real estate. I had a feeling that I'm going to practice as a chartered accountant because I'm qualified. And also have the idea that I'm going to start a logistics business because that's what I'm doing in Nigeria. So I had those 3. And she had an idea that she was going to start a restaurant. Because that was where she was in Nigeria. She was going to start that in Nigeria before we left. So she was like, oh, she's going to create the best African restaurant in the UK. So we had that coming. But when we got there, we didn't do all that at the beginning. So we got here for like a month or 2 or 3. We're not doing anything. We're still strategizing. We're still looking for opportunities, planning. Where are we going to settle? We have a house where we are staying, but we rented it. But we're willing to move to anywhere where the opportunity is. We're willing to relocate. If it is Manchester, if it is in the north, if it's in the east, let's look at opportunities. So she came up one day and said, oh, I want to start selling African food. My first reaction was, it's not possible. It's not a good business. That was my first reaction. I was against it. She was able to convince. That's what I talk about. You convincing your spouse to believe in your idea. She was able to convince me over some weeks. I don't know how many weeks, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. Not forcing it on me that no, we must do it. She was like, it's going to work. So I now started doing research. I'm a research person. I started looking at that market. I was doing research. I now discovered that we have over 3 million Nigerians in the UK. I mean, I just went online. I just said we have over 3 million. And I saw that we are not just serving Nigerians, we're serving Africans. So the market is big. So I now started looking at the big players in the market. I saw that there are people of another ethnicity, which we have talked about earlier. And I saw that they've been doing it for years. And I saw where they were and what they are doing. And I'm like, wow. So I was convinced. So the next thing was, okay, I think it's a good business idea. So how do we now start? So I now started looking at the logistics. I started looking at the supply chain. I started looking at products. I started looking at categories, how to source it, how to distribute. I mean that one took about a year. For a year, we're doing the planning. We're doing the planning.
Wow.
I don't know if I've answered your question. I think I've gone everywhere.
You see, what you have done is actually deep, because that alone would tell anybody that, look, this edifice that you're seeing here, it did not just come out just like that. There was the teaching stage of convincing oneself that this thing will work. And there was now the stage of planning, how are you going to execute this thing? And you now took the leap and you took it. And here you are today.
Then maybe I will share this as well. one of the ways, like I said, we have been doing business, so we had a bit of reserve, but capital is never enough. You would always need once more. There's nobody. I've not seen anybody that say, "Oh, I have more than enough capital." A businessman, you always need to fall back. So another way where we created, when Madam was very, very industrious, was when we're starting. She created a contribution where she was number one. You understand? So
yes, I understand.
We had about 8 people contribute a certain amount.
Yes.
I can't remember the figure now. Maybe 1 million. I don't know. And she was number one. So that means for that month she took the bulk of the money,
chunk of everybody.
And she invested it in the business. So subsequently, every month we're paying back. At that point, she came with the idea. I'm the secretary, so I did the letter, sent it to everybody, email to start the group. I wrote a very good write-up telling people that some people invest for some people keep money for investment, some keep for savings. Most of them are working. So those of you that are working, you need the savings. So save every month. Those of us that are doing business, we need the money for investment. So you understand what I'm saying? They bought into the idea. We started the contribution. She was number one, so she took number one. So we're able to invest that money into the business. Awesome. We needed it. There was a point where we started and we exhausted
all supply.
Because we started big, so we exhausted all the funds. In fact, like I told you, if I knew what I knew, or if I knew everything I needed to know, I wouldn't have started the business. If I knew that the money I had was not going to be enough, I would not start. Because it's a shock. It's a good reality. You have started and you're sunk hundreds of thousands of pounds, and you still discover that you need more. So if I had known that, I would need all this money, I would not start. But thank God I didn't know. Like I keep saying, thank God I didn't know. There are so many things that I didn't know then that I know now, that if I had known, I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have started.
But here today, you're servicing several homes, several cities within and outside the UK. If you didn't take that big launch, you wouldn't have been here. Yes. So on the final note, on the Mentors Lounge today, what do you want to say as a parting short to say onto anyone that wants to take that big leap, that is still contemplating, with the benefit of hindsight? What will you say in any field, in any business?
I would say that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and the edifice is built precept upon precept, bricks upon bricks. You need to lay a good foundation and start putting things one step after the other. Just take a small step of faith and keep building on it. Once you are convinced that you're on the right track, don't be afraid to quit when you need to quit. But once you are convinced that this is right for you, I think you should just forge ahead, step after step, step after step. Put in the hard work, roll up your sleeve, work very hard. One area that I have improved myself, but I'm still working on, is mental exhaustion, like thinking through things. And I believe I've worked with so many successful people, and I think one of the things that set them apart is the way they reason, the way they sit down, they strategize, and they brainstorm. I didn't used to do that. I always believe, let's get on. I don't want to put pressure on myself, but I discovered that you need to strategize, you need to talk to people, you need to hold meetings if you want to. When you are starting a business, you hold meeting with yourself. You would need to think that your brain would be tired. You would sit down and think, and you'll be so tired. But by the time your business becomes bigger and you have a team, you need to now be sitting down with people to think. And that's when you see people go to work and say, I'm tired, and you're wondering how you're in the AC now. And you were not carrying bricks, but because it's mental exertion, they are taxing the brain. And it takes more energy from what I've gathered. It takes more energy
Yes.
when you are using your brain than when you are using your physical energy.
Yeah.
So
we
must be willing as young people, as business people, we must be willing to put a demand on our brain. I remember a mentor used to tell me that make your brain sweat. Make your brain sweat. So your brain can sweat, but it will not. When it sweats, it will not remain the same. Something like that. So we need to do that. I've not done enough of that. I'm learning it now because, like I told you, I don't know it all. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I still see some things and I'm shocked that, wow, if only I've known this thing many years ago.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Seyi. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session with you this day, and I must really appreciate you for your time. I know it's not easy to bring the CEO and hold the CEO on hot seat for 1 hour. Thanks so much, Seyi. So today, that's it for us on the Mentors Lounge today with the founder and chief executive of WosiWosi UK Limited, the person of Seyi AWOBADEJO. Until I come away your way again, this is Lanre Louis signing out on the Mentors Lounge. Thank you very much.